Welcome to the Lippert Technical Institute. My name's Emily, and today I want to walk you through inspection of a baggage door. On our trailer here, we have 3 different baggage doors, and they all have different concerns or environmental damage on them. And I want to walk you through the inspection, how to find this problem, and what remedies can be taken to solve these issues, whether it's a small repair or replacing the door. Beginning our visual inspection of our baggage doors, we're going to talk about a few cosmetic concerns. A cosmetic concern could be a bowing of this panel. The bowing can happen in extreme heat, cold, or humidity, and that will expand and contract the material on the inside of the door. If the bowing is causing a leak, you'll have to replace the whole door. If the bowing is only a visual concern, then you can replace it depending on your preference. But since this panel is not replaceable on its own, the entire cargo door will need replaced. Another part of cosmetic issues for visual inspection is any scratches or dents that may be taken out of the door. You can remedy these by using an exterior sealant, but if that doesn't suit your visual preference, you will have to replace the entire door. There are a few instances where the seam of this outer frame on the door was located on the bottom instead of at the top where the hinge is. If the seam is on the bottom of your baggage door, then you'll need to install a splint plate because the seam is a weak point of the door and can cause a bow at the bottom. On some installation of baggage doors, you could have a clip latch at the top on the wall or a magnetic latch system with one part being installed on this outer frame of the door and the other side being mounted on the wall itself. When you have that latch, you'll want to make sure that the screws that secure this to the bag door doesn't penetrate through to the other side and that there's a sealing foam, tape, or sealant on the back of that latch. The next thing that you'll want to look at when you're looking at your baggage doors is the gap between this outside frame and the wall. When installed, the door should have a consistent gap, the distance between the wall and this outside frame. If that gap's not consistent, it could show that the door is twisting or not installed in a square manner. So to further confirm that, this door would hit this outside frame on either one of those corners. And to remedy that, you would have to remove the door, shim where it's appropriate, and then replace the door and follow the squaring procedure on the LCI website. Here at door 2, this door is a good example of what happens when a door is installed out of square. So our outside frame doesn't quite meet this inside frame right, and you can tell because at this corner is rubbing that outside frame. If you come over here, this corner's not touching this outside corner, and there's a large gap that will allow water penetration into the unit. Also, when you go to unlatch, you'll notice that latch sticks a little more. And this latch is very easily to open. And when you go to open the door, this side hits the outside frame. And when you open the door, you can see that this frame is slightly twisted and angled forward. And what I mean by that is that the outside corners here are sitting more flat than this inner section here, and when this is tilting forward, it'll create a bad seal in the center, whereas the outside will have a good seal because there's more contact with the sealing foam. And that's a good indication that it's not installed square, so you'll have to remove the entire door, shim where it's appropriate, and then reinstall the door following the squaring guide on the LCI website. One thing to always keep an eye out for is voids in any of your seal around the baggage door. There should be signs of a foam seal or a butyl tape on the inner flange of the outside frame, and then you should have a silicone seal laid over the top of it. This door is a good example of what the voiding seal looks like. We have a few remnants of seal over here, but over the top, where all the water will drain down the side of the wall and go into the unit, there's no seal across this. To fix that, you would take your seal. We have an outside RV sealant and lay it over the top in one slow motion. If your seal bubbles, just make sure you go back over that spot. And then you can take mineral spirits on a rag and gloves and clean the seal off if you've made it a little bit messy. The next part of our inspection is to see how this door operates. To open our door, we'll turn our latch, and we have a turn latch on our door, but you could also have a slam latch or a standard latch. If this latch gets stuck, it's because this inner liner on this outside frame could be bent or have screws in the way. And to fix this liner, you could use a 2x4 and a hammer or a clamp to straighten this metal out. Also on this liner is this foam seal, and the way this door works is when it's closed and the compression from the latch pushes this foam down and it seals the door shut. So if you have any damage, then you'll want to replace that whole foam seal. This seam here in the center, that is normal to be placed because that's just where it completes the circle for installation. The last thing that we're going to take a look at on this specific baggage door is the mounting screws. Your mounting screws can be located in one of three spots. They could be on the outside of this frame, just in front of this inner lip, or behind the inner lip. Our screws are on this inner liner here. If you have pre-drilled screw holes, each hole should be filled, or if you do not have any missing holes that aren't filled with screws, your screws should be no more than 12 inches apart. And that's all the key points that you'll be looking for when you're doing a baggage door inspection.